Hey everybody, just a quick one from me. Um, this is a double whammy of cases. So, as you can see from the title, we are going to be looking at the cases of John Balaban and Fanny Port. Immature. Yeah, I wasn't intending to do two videos. Not two videos, two cases, but they kind of fell on from each other because I was intrigued when I started reading. Anyway, just wanted to give you the heads up that we are doing two videos. We are doing two cases. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and yeah, back to Past Matt. Hey everybody, how are you all doing? I hope you're doing well. My name's Matthew and I post videos every Monday and Friday, so if you love the tingles, then please do hit that subscribe button, because you are in the right place. Before we get started, not sure if you know this already, I have a true crime playlist on my channel, so all the true crime cases that I have done are all in one place. So yeah, if you've got suggestions for cases, do take a look. I may have already covered it, or if I haven't, leave it in the comments below. And yeah, a quick question for you as well, whilst I have your attention. Is it just true crime videos you want to see? Is there other triggers or other video ideas you'd like me to do? If there is, leave that in the comments below. Or if you want me to just do true crime videos, then just stick to the true crime. I just wasn't sure whether or not you guys wanted some variety, or if true crime was enough. Either way, I'm good. I just want to make content that you want to watch, and I'm happy to make the content you want, so let me know. Anywho, both work hard, don't they? So today we are going to be looking at the case of John Balaban. I think that's how you pronounce it. So on the 26th of August 1953, John Balaban had the dubious honour of being the first person to be hanged in the newly converted hanging tower at the Adelaide jail. John was a 29-year-old Romanian who was definitely not a stupid man. In fact, he obtained a degree as an assistant engineer in physics and meteorology, I think that was, when he was only 19 years old. He joined the army in 1947 before escaping to France in 1948, where later he admitted to making his first kill. A woman had been strangled to death after making love to her. Her murder remained unsolved until John made his confession 5 years later. In 1952, he met and married Thelma Gadd and lived with her mother, and Thelma's 6-year-old stepson Philip at the Sunshine Cafe in Gouger Street maybe. However, John was becoming increasingly unhappy and blamed his unhappiness on his wife. Finally, on the 3rd of December 1952, he walked out. Only 2 days later, while drinking at the Royal Admiral Hotel on Hindley Street with some friends, John met Zora Gusk, and after a drink or two, Zora invited John back to her shack in Torrensville. Well, while in the cab, Zora made the fatal mistake of admitting to John that she was in fact a prostitute and requested £5 for her services. Disgusted that she was just a common prostitute, He became enraged and strangled her before cutting her throat with a knife and slitting her stomach and chest open. Jesus Christ. John was arrested and in January 1953 was sent to trial, which only lasted 5 days before he was released due to there not being enough evidence. How was there not enough evidence? I guess there might not have been DNA. I'm guessing. This fatal mistake cost the lives of 3 more innocent people. Returning to his family in February, conditions did not improve, and he became more and more unhappy until on the 11th of April 1953, John decided to go out for a drink and ended up attacking a young lady in the women's toilet block, taking an iron bar and assaulting others, even putting one in hospital with head injuries. On returning back to the cafe that night, briefly he wondered what his wife would say to him being dirty and covered in blood. It was at this moment he decided to cure his unhappiness once and for all. Took a claw hammer and beat his wife to death. He didn't stop with his wife. He continued his violent spree by taking the hammer to his mother-in-law and also to poor little Philip, who both survived their ordeal. Jesus. For a few days before finally succumbing to their injuries. Oh God. It was while attacking the girl who worked there that she managed to escape by jumping out of the window and raised the alarm. John was arrested and taken to Adelaide jail, tried and found guilty of the murder of Zora Kusk. He was also sentenced to hanging by the neck until dead. On the morning of execution, the police closed off Jail Road, but they needn't worried as the execution of John Balaban failed to entice even one member of the public to demonstrate against it. It wasn't just the public that had little sympathy for him, but he was unpopular with the guards too, especially as he savagely attacked a prison warden whom he tried to throttle before being overpowered. John showed no remorse for what he had done and stated that they deserved to die. He even claimed that Philip was a mercy killing, as he otherwise have lived his life under a dark cloud. At 8 a.m. on the 26th of August 1953, John Balaban became the 42nd person to be hanged in Adelaide jail. Hang on. So, a young, stout lady nervously stood in the dark with her head hung low and pleaded not guilty to the murder of what she was accused of. Fanny Port had been in the service of Arthur Horrocks, a farmer in Penrudham, Clare Valley, for around 4 months as a cook and a general servant. Arthur Horrocks was the brother of the famous explorer and pastoralist John Ainsworth Horrocks. One morning he found her crying, and upon asking what was wrong, she stated that people were endeavouring to injure her good name by spreading rumours that she was pregnant. Horrocks tried to reassure her that if this was the case that she'd be afforded help and all the attention she needed. She thanked Horrocks for his kind offer but refused to admit the pregnancy. A little later, and still suspicious, Horrocks searched her room and found evidence to suggest that the rumours were true. Fanny finally admitted to having already given birth and told him that the baby had died and was buried only 50 yards from the house. Worried that she would hurt the child, he asked her questions, to which she replied, "Oh no, sir, I would have kept it if it had breathed. She also said it was a very pretty little girl. Fanny took him to the spot where she'd buried her baby, and he marked the spot before sending word to the local magistrate. The police arrived and soon after exhumed the body, being careful not to damage it in any way. The dead body of the child was quickly taken to Claire for examination. Despite Fanny's insistence that the child had not breathed when born, the examination by Dr. Foster Stedman showed otherwise. They tested her lungs and they floated, a sure sign, he said, that the baby had been breathing before she died. The valve of the heart was closed, also another sign that the baby had been alive when born, and that there had been circulation. The head was exhibiting discoloration from extensive bruising, and the scalp was swollen. After removing the scalp, the examiner found blood on the skull from internal bleeding. He believed this would have been the cause of death. He did not consider that such damage would have been done through childbirth, but would have been from the delivered blows from a blunt source, possibly knuckles. He could not find anything else to suggest to account for the child's death. Mr. Parker for the defence argued that no child's cry had been heard, and that Mr. Horrocks had witnessed only weeks earlier Fanny preparing clothing for her child. He pointed out that she had always been of a kindly disposition towards other people's children, and that it would have been out of character for her to ever harm a child, never mind her own. He reminded the jury of Fanny's comment, said with fondness, "It was a pretty little girl." He put to the jury, if there was any doubt in their minds at all, they must not find her guilty of murder, but for the crime of concealment would be more fitting. With that, the jury retired and returned with the verdict of not guilty of murder, but guilty of concealment, which in those days was a crime in itself. Mr. Justice Cooper proceeded to pass sentence in a low, solemn tone. "Fanny Port, you have been vindicated of a wilful murder of your own child. The jury have acquitted you of that dreadful crime, but found you guilty of the lesser offence of concealment." He continued by reminding her that, had the jury been compelled to have found you guilty of infanticide, it would have been incumbent on me to pronounce the sentence of death upon you, and having done so, I would have no power to avert it. You would have been taken from where you now stand, and in a few days, at the place of public execution, your life would have paid the penalty of the dreadful offence you have charged to you. He reminded her that a kind offer to help had been offered, and that refusal of that help had no doubt contributed to the death of her child. For this reason, he felt that he should give the maximum sentence for the crime, and she'd been found guilty of, and on the 9th of August 1953, Fanny Port was sentenced to the Adelaide jail for 2 years with hard labour. These were a couple of interesting cases. Sorry, you got the bonus case of Fanny Port there as well. How interesting that she wasn't found guilty, but actually she was guilty. She just got lucky, basically, because of the man was a position of power and managed to convince the jury otherwise. Balaban, on the hand, was just messed up, and lucky that he got justice, but was far too late, because there was a perfect opportunity to have him sentenced. Although he had only killed one person, it could have saved the lives of 4 others, and it was missed but I'm assuming this is due to lack of DNA at that time, maybe. Because I mean, it all kind of seems a bit clear now. But then again, he did admit it, which is weird. Like, you've already killed so many people. Why would you admit it? But then it was good that he did admit it. I don't know. The whole situation's messed up. Completely messed up. But he got the justice he deserved. And Fanny, on the other hand, did not get the justice she deserved. She got some justice, but not the justice for killing her own child, which I'm pretty sure, like, the judge said that she did commit this crime. But then a question, if the judge, couldn't the judge overrule the jury if he believed that, I mean, does that defeat the principle of it, doesn't it? But then again, I thought the judge could overrule it. Maybe it's changed, I don't know. But really interesting cases. Anyway, I'm not sure if you can hear that someone is mowing their lawn and not or not. I'm hoping you can't really, but I do apologise if you can. But I am going to wrap this video up here. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you found it to be relaxing. If you're still awake and super relaxed and you're not already, please do subscribe to the channel, and yeah, don't forget to leave a comment below of any videos you'd like me to do or any true crime suggestions you may have. Night, guys.